I love NCNW because we are an organization of organizations and we are Black Girl Magic.
I love NCNW on Founders Day and every day because we're every woman.
Yeah!
I love NCNW because I see myself here and I see my family and friends here at NCNW.
Yes!
I love NCNW for its legacy.
I love NCNW because I love doing work for Black women.
Yes!
I love NCNW because it makes me feel empowered by my sisterhood.
I love NCNW because what other organization is that's better than us? There is no other organization for Black women better than this.
Well, I love NCNW because you all help build and preserve our community.
I love NCNW because family was important to Mary McLeod Bethune, and this is my family outside of my family.
I love NCNW because who doesn't love a Black woman that's the mother of all?
I love NCNW because of the advancement and empowerment of African American women.
I love NCNW because of the diversity within the diaspora and I feel included.
I love NCNW because we fight to protect Black women's rights and Black girls rock.
I love NCNW because what safer space is there for Black women than the one we create for ourselves?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chanel Johnson, and I serve as your National Young Adult Vice Chair, as well as one of three of the chairs for the Committee on Young Adult and Collegiate Affairs. I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight for this very special evening to commemorate 88 dynamic years of the National Council of Negro Women Incorporated. On December 5th, 1935, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune laid the foundation for an organization that will become a beacon of hope, empowerment, and advocacy for generations to come. As we reflect on the rich history of NCNW, we are reminded of the power of being intergenerational. For nearly 9 decades, this organization has thrived because of our ability to pass the baton to the next generation while honoring the legacy of those who came before us. Today's celebration is a testament to the enduring spirit of unity that binds us together across time. Tonight, we are privileged to have 2 esteemed speakers who truly embody the values and vision of NCNW, our 9th National Chair of the Board, Dr. A. Lois Keith, and our 9th President and CEO, Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley. You guys are truly in for a treat, as they will share some personal insights, reflections, and some good inspiration for us as we continue in this legacy of achievement in leading, advocating for, and empowering women of African descent, their families, and communities. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. A. Lois Keith, again, our National Chair of the Board.
Thank you so much, Chanel. I be with Siobhan all the time. I'm getting ready to call you Siobhan. Chanel, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. What an excitement and what a wonderful time it is for us to be celebrating 88 wonderful years as members and as part of this wonderful organization called the National Council of Negro Women. You know, I can't imagine what was going through the founders' mind when they met in New York to talk about and to strategize and to come up with ideas as to what organization they could form and the National Council of Negro Women, and to come up with a mission for being an advocate for women and children, and talking with 28 national women organizations, Black women organizations, and just discussing and wanting to pull together this great organization. I cannot imagine what Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune would think if she was here today to see the growth and the development and the vision and the things that we are doing to make NCNW the NCNW she envisioned. Never in a million years did she probably really imagine that our headquarters would be at 633 Pennsylvania Avenue, even though she wanted a presence in our nation's capital, but to be on 633 Pennsylvania Avenue, located between the White House and the Capitol, I just can't imagine how she would feel. Walk into the building today and to see this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful building. And I think back on the legacy of NCNW, and I think about all of the past presidents that we have had. And I have to speak about one that was very dear to me and one whose shoulders I directly stand on, and that is Dr. Dorothy Irene Height. And it is because there was a Dr. Dorothy Irene Height that I'm able to sit here right now with you all and say that I am the chair of the National Council of Negro Women. My dream and my vision for NCNW is for it to thrive and to continue to grow and to even go past another 88 years. And I can't imagine what it would look like or what it would feel like. But I would want to think that somehow, in some small way, I would have had a voice or a hand in shaping the new era of NCNW. And at this time, you know, I do have a road partner, and that is the Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley. You see, I can't even call another person's name without calling her name, because I know that, and I have to say this, God had a plan and had a hand in putting the two of us together. Someone that is very, very, very dear to me. Mrs. Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley is an ordained minister, and she brings 21 years of experience in healthcare, equity and diversity and inclusion, government affairs, and excellent, may I say that, may I repeat that again, excellent, excellent, excellent leadership. We are where we are today over this past year because somehow we found a Siobhan Arline Bradley, and she agreed to become the president and CEO of the National Council of Negro Women. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to my friend.
Now, you know, I'm going to fall out on the screen, and she's going to make me cry on my first Founders Day. Good evening, everyone. I am in purple. I am tickled purple tonight. With a purple lip and a purple shirt, because I have probably the greatest honor to sit next to someone who loves the Lord and who loves this organization. And in that order, I'm honored to be in this conversation tonight. And I see the purple power. I see y'all. Purple power is serious tonight. I see y'all in the chat because we're here talking about an organization that is like no other. We are the original convener of Black women. We are the original convener of Black women. And let me just say this to all of you that are in the chat. You already know the drill. I see all the cities all over the country that are logging in, all the affiliates that are starting to say that they're here. Let me just say, if you can think about what was happening around 7 o'clock, 88 years ago, I wonder what was happening. I wonder what the food was around the table. I wonder what the agenda was. I wonder who called the meeting to order. And I will tell you this, as we started out as an organization of organizations and expanded to our sections, let me just tell you, there is no other place I'd rather be than serving as your president and CEO. Let me just start by saying this. NCNW is on a trajectory to really begin to see those policy changes and see conditions change for women of African descent their families, and their communities. With our board leadership, I want to just give the board a special shout out. Our board is second to none, with tri-chairs that are representing every facet of what it means to be young in NCNW. Now they put me out of the tri-chairs. I want y'all to know I missed the cutoff now. I'm no longer young, but I'm gonna be Yaka in my heart. But I will tell you, I am so proud of the leadership of our organization. And let me tell you the beauty of NCNW. I'm going to take a few minutes to do this. Just roll with me on this. First and foremost, we have the most intergenerational approach to everything we do. From our tri-chairs, from our youth sections, from our collegians who are actually in the chat, to literally the senior seasoned stateswomen that we are literally honoring tonight. All of the past president chairs who have sat in that seat, our revered founder, our revered visionary leader for 50 years, and of course, those leaders that have come and gone. And I will tell you, NCNW is a table for every Black woman, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. If you are a Black woman, you are on our team. If you are a Black woman who believes in advancing the trajectory of women of African descent, their children, and their communities, and their families, you are at the right table. I'll tell you, the beauty of NCNW is we leave no sister behind. We leave no sister behind. And so tonight, as I wear my NCNW pearls, and as I pop my purple lip, let me tell you, there is some purple pride on the call tonight. So I know we have a program, but I just wanted to give you context. You are in the right room. There's over 430 sisters that joined us in a 24-hour setup, okay? We have sisters all over the country. We have been creating videos. I want to shout out our staff. Y'all, we have grown. Dr. Keith walked into our building today and didn't know who the people were. I said, we have a full staff meeting. Over 20 staff members. We are growing so that we can support the membership and support the work of this organization. And I don't know if you know, but it's affiliates assembly time. We're getting ready to meet for our assembly. And we just finalized, we have over 800 people joining us for our gala. So I don't know about you, but it's NCNW week. And I'm just going to hereby say every first week of December is NCNW's entire week. A day is not enough for us because we are being blessed. The Lord is so kind to us. And we are grateful because there are some organizations that did not see another year, but NCNW is not one of them. So on behalf of our national leadership, our staff, we say we love you, Godspeed, and God bless you. And we're looking forward to having more time together. So I'll turn it over back to our tri-chairs. Check us out on the website. Don't forget to donate. Don't forget to join. Don't forget to get more members. You know I got to drop it in there. Get the people out. It's time to go to work because we got elections coming up. All right. Love you all. And I'll turn it back over to the tri-chairs.
Thank you so much, President Arline Bradley. And so we did have a couple of framing questions that we wanted to kind of focus tonight's discussion around because, like you said, we're celebrating 88 years. And so that is a long time and a lot of history for a lot of women that have been involved with NCNW and have brought in new sisters. So we'd love to kind of hear your experience as far as your journey into NCNW and what kind of drew you into the organization for both you, Dr. Keith, and President Arline Bradley.
I'll go first. Believe it or not, I was supposed to have been part of the chartering for the DeKalb section of NCNW. And as fate would have it, somehow my name, I just kind of, I don't know, I guess I was lost in the shuffle, I guess. I'll just say that. But after that, I met a young lady by the name of Thelma Underdew, who invited me to an NCNW meeting. And I was excited about going. And when I walked in the meeting, without a doubt, I knew right then that NCNW was for me. NCNW changed my life forever. The things that I have been able to do, the things I have been able to accomplish with the support of my DeKalb section of NCNW and with women all across the United States have been absolutely amazing. When I walked into this particular NCNW meeting, and by this time, they probably had been in operation for maybe 6 to 9 months. But I saw the dedication. I saw the service. I saw the projects. I saw that they were involved in. I saw the caliber of women who were going beyond the call of duty to make a difference in the lives of a child, in the lives of women and men. And they were concerned about education, feeding the homeless, voter registration, you name it, they were doing. I knew then it was for me. That was where I was supposed to be. And I like to tell people this. I had been in NCNW probably, I don't know, maybe 9 months. And it was time for an election. And I decided that I wanted to run for financial secretary. Well, guess what? I did not win. Even though I'm a math major, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I had no business being a financial secretary, nor did I have any business being a treasurer. As a matter of fact, in my DeKalb section, I have held every office except those two positions. And, you know, and it's amazing how God would put you in a place or in kind of order your steps, if I may. And I like to tell young people, and I like to tell this story so that young women will know that you don't always win the first time around, but guess what? You don't stop. So when it was time for elections the next time around, I ran for second vice president. And you all know what second vice president entails. It entails membership. That was what I was more or less, that's my mission in NCNW is membership. And I like to tell, and from then, even on the national level, I've held so many positions. And so if you don't win the first time, do not say, oh, that organization is not for me. Yes, it is for you. Continue. And then the Lord would definitely order your steps.
Yeah, and I think you bring up some really good points as far as that initial feeling of home. And I think that will resonate a lot with our younger generations that are on the call, especially for our collegiates that, you know, this is their first time leaving home and they're away from their family. So they're really looking for that space where they have that support and they have those sisters. So I can definitely share that NCNW is that for me. And even as you speak about growing with the organization and stepping into leadership roles, really having that support within whatever section you're a part of or whatever state coalition, you know, NCNW is that home and is those connecting links for, you know, just establishing and growing women. So thank you for sharing. President Armand Bradley, did you have anything you wanted to add on to that?
Not much. I mean, my story is very different than Dr. Keith's.
Mm-hmm.
So I will just high level, my NCNW engagement really came as an affiliate. I came in through the affiliate route. So I'm a member of Delta with them. I'm a member of 3 affiliates. Delta brought me in. I was actually at the time the youngest delegate at the convention. So my friends would laugh and say, why do you want to go to be a delegate at NCNW? They would think I was crazy. And for me, it was sitting at the feet of the women and understanding the power of collective Black womanhood. I've always been that person. I've always been the person to bring people together. I've always been that person. And Dr. Keith, I told her this, she didn't even know. I remember seeing her. She would just be gliding through, walk. If anybody know Lois Keith, I'm like, she's so pretty. She's so regal. She's so amazing. I would think that all the time. And I was learning about the elections. I was trying to follow the policy. And my engagement was, and it wasn't that there were a lot of younger women. When you saw one, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Right? It was. You were just happy to do the hey. But here's what I learned. I learned that in those rooms, you could have someone who's the CEO of a corporate, entity, or someone who was not a lot of education, but had life experience and work experience, that they were all at the same table and engaging together. For me, that was the win. That was what made me say NCNW is one of those places. And let me just close with this. One of the things that has been my mantra in this work is, how do we make NCNW a place where sisters know to go? Know where you want to go, know where you need to go. You need to go to NCNW because NCNW has something that I can do, has a place and space for me to learn, to lead, to guide. And for me, who knew that back in the years that I was coming as a delegate, that this would be a position that would even be an opportunity, because at that time, there was no president and CEO in the likeness of a civil rights infrastructure. So that is my story. And I will tell the younger sisters, listen, the other piece about NCNW that you need to know is that not only are we open to everyone, but we are also an organization that will give you the experiences you need to be great in the world. You'll learn the good, the bad, and the ugly of management, of leadership, the hard stuff about sisterhood, and the loving things about sisterhood. And for me, as a young adult, that is where you learn how to mount up and raise your hands with like-minded women who are on the same mission.
Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Gabrielle Rogers, and I serve as the proud child chair as well. Also hail from the great state of Georgia and serve as the second vice president membership and a life member. So as you can tell, I love NCNW. And so I'm very excited to share the next question with us, because I am not only a young woman, a millennial, but also very active in community. So we also want to make sure that we get our young people involved. So my next question to you all is, why would a young woman today join NCNW? And I'm going to start with our Madam President.
Dr. Keith, you want to go? You want me to start?
Well, I can go. I'll take that.
You know, you're a young woman, so I want to.
Yes, you know, I mean,
let's go.
Since I'm a young woman,
let's go.
Real, I'll go. You know, this to me, NCNW is, and I'm going to use the word, a melting pot. It's a place where you can find yourself. You can find your niche. Because NCNW is open to women of all socioeconomic backgrounds. If you want to become something in life, if you have a goal, if you don't know how to reach that goal, we have women in NCNW from all walks of life who can walk you through, and they can help you and to be able to arrive at your destiny or your dreams. They can help you in that way. It's a place for young women. And I tell you, even today, walking in the headquarters and looking at those women who were at the table, and young men alike, it was a very, 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 very good feeling. I have been around NCNW for decades, and one of the things that I want to do, I want to nurture young girls. And I want young girls to know that one day you too can be the chair of the board of the National Council of Negro Women, or any organization that you want to be.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Keith. One of the things I can say about Dr. Keith is that she is a woman of her word. And so many of the mentors, not only here in the state of Georgia, but nationally, she has been also for young women, open up opportunities for us as well. So we're so thankful for you, Dr. Keith. Madam President, you're up next.
Why would a young woman want to join NCNW? Well, listen, since y'all kicked me out of Yaka, let me just say, there's a few things for me. One, I think this is an organization that, again, prepares you for real life. A younger woman can come here and become a leader. They can be an officer in a collegiate section. They can be in a youth section that works with a community-based section to be able to. I saw some, shout out to Richmond, Virginia. I was in Richmond, Virginia And I saw the young president of the youth section. She was a junior in high school presenting me, right? She was introducing me. I think young women also have the opportunity, because of our infrastructure, we do have a place and space for young adults and collegiate women. And let me just say this place is also very, very intentional about opportunities. No, sir, son, mommy's working. So I think and you can also be a mom and work at the same time while you're on a live feed. It doesn't matter. You feed the people and you can do a lot of different things. I want to say this too about young women. I also think it is very important that when you have opportunities for generational models, this is that place. And we discern the kind of leaders that should come on board, because we know that we have to hear the perspectives of all women. And this is one place that you can see sisters of all ages finding their stride, right? And here's the last thing. I'm gonna say the thing that everybody doesn't want to hear. We need younger women.
We need one.
Because in 10 years, this is gonna look different. And some of those high schoolers that are introducing me are going to be on the board, right? Some of those collegiates are going to be in chairmanship. And my sisters, hear me on the ground, if we don't allow young women to come in and lead, right? Not move you out your spot, but find places for them to lead so they can learn how to do the things that you're doing now. We can't operate in a vacuum generationally, because if we do, we'll die on the vine. We will die on the vine. And so the beauty of youth is that what it means is that there's new life. That's the context of bringing in younger people. I'm a preacher, but this is my real last thing. My real last thing is this. The other part about young people is we have got to instill Black pride in our young Black women. And for me, this organization does nothing more than make you just love your Black womanhood in a different kind of way. Why? Because of all of our differences. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you went to school or didn't go to school. It doesn't matter if you're in a sorority or not in a sorority. It doesn't matter if you go to a Baptist church or AME church or it doesn't matter. We have a level playing field here. And for Black women, a Black woman cannot always find that space. Here's where we train you, prepare you, push you, and then present opportunity for you. So that's my close. I'm gonna mute. I love the young people question, because I know that I've got to say what people are thinking, and that if we don't get it together, we don't bring in young folks. That staff that we're bringing in now has all ages and backgrounds, and we got even some brothers that are joining because they want to support us in the work.
Well, thank you so much, Madam President, as always. There's two things that we took back is that first, you can still be a mom, okay, in real time and still be able to work, but also a place for Black women to be. And so that is so important to us to be inspired to continue to doing the good work here on the ground. So I'll turn it over to our Tri-Chair, Arian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ariane Jamerson. I'm the final Tri-Chair for the YACA Committee, the Young Adults and Collegiate Affairs. I'm also a member of the Manhattan section in New York. I joined NCNW myself, a part of the Howard University section as a collegiate. So when we talk about being intergenerational and this organization being an organization for you to go through your life with, that's what NCNW has been for me. So after leaving Howard University in Washington, D.C., I joined the Manhattan section in New York, where I was attending grad school. And this year actually is very monumental in my NCNW career, because it actually marks my 20th year of part of NCNW. It's hard to believe that I have been here for 20 years, but I have. I joined 2003 fall semester while on campus. And for me, I never knew what NCNW was. I did a debutante while I was in high school. So I was aware of, women organizations. But when I got to Howard University, I was able to see the vast opportunities to join organizations and be involved. And I remember someone telling me, oh, you just got to go to this meeting. I had no idea what I was walking into. They were like, just show up. You need to be here at this time. And I went and I fell in love with NCNW. And one of the beauties of falling in NCNW was the fact that I was here in DC and I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Haidt. She is the reason why I continue to be in NCNW. So you have to grasp onto our roots as we like to affectionately call our older members the roots, and we are the wings. However, they teach us so much. This is how your legacy lives on, by teaching me and some of the other younger women the ways to understand what the importance of our history is and how we can be educated learning from you guys. So I just really want to say thank you to NCNW for helping me to grow as a woman, even in my leadership capabilities. I remember I've joined on the board by basically being on the nominating committee, and then now I'm a tri-chair. So it's just amazing the opportunities you are given as you participate. Women get to know you, you latch on, you have mentors in the organization. There are so many women that I know I am only in this role now because of them. So definitely Founders Day is a moment to give thanks and to show gratitude for 88 years and look at how far we can move forward. So with that being said, we want to know how NCNW can continue the vision for the next 10, 15, 20 years. I know we're part of this new era. We're bringing new breath to NCNW. We're fired up. The committees are doing so much work. We already heard about the staff that has now increased. That means we have the higher bandwidth to do different things. We're all over the places we've already been, but now we're having more sponsors. We have our affiliates assembly coming up. So this is just a great time to be a part of NCNW. So we know the new era is bringing us to the next 10, 15, 20 years. So we definitely want to hear from Dr. Keith as she is bringing us along on this journey.
You know, to be completely honest with you, this is a good place to be. It's an excellent place to be. And especially when you love NCNW. And as I stated earlier, my vision for NCNW is to continue to grow, you know, not just be content with having a building on 633 Pennsylvania Avenue, but I envision NCNW going into other countries and spreading the word about the importance of being an advocate for women and children. 10 years from now, I really envision an even more robust organization, because I think the infrastructure and the ideas and the thoughts is going into the planning for the future. What we are doing today is not just for today, for the 88th anniversary, but it's for years to come. And looking at the screen right now and looking at these beautiful 4 YACA members, and I know one still want to be, don't do that, Siobhan, want to be YACA. And of course, guess what? They never invited me to join them for some strange reason. I wonder why. But that's okay. That's okay. Let our jokes aside. I love seeing a screen that looks like this, because I know that we won't be around forever. But I know that looking at you all and looking at what we are seeing, NCNW will be in good hands for generations to come. And that is what I envision for the future. That is what I want. That's what I want to really see happen to NCNW.
Okay, our Madam President.
You don't want me to have this question. But I see joy for the next 10 years. I do. In the next 10 years, I see joy. I'm telling you, I go to work happy. It's unbelievable. Because what I know is we literally are on the precipice of embarking on an infrastructure that's going to allow us to be who I believe were intended to be and more. I want to say it this way. I'm seeing 500 people on the screen. I know in 10 years, that's going to be 1,000 people. I see that we have raised money this year for this gala, and I see that money getting bigger. Y'all know your president. Y'all pray for your chair. She prays to just roll with me. I said, come on, Dr. Key, we're gonna do this next. But I see one click of a button and a whole bunch of purple in the streets marching on issues that we're fighting for. I see purple at state houses in every state. I see an infrastructure that's already set that mirrors from section to state to national. I see collegiates knocking down the doors to sign up to run for offices, to join committees in your sections. I see the purple rush of Washington, D.C. in the next year. I see also, quite frankly, programs that actually change the way that people live in this country that are Black women. I see us doing housing. I see us doing education. I see us bringing banned books back to schools. I see us in school board meetings in all purple demanding that we have Black history. I see Black women in entrepreneurship classes. I see us running our own hotel one day. I see us running our own companies all over the country. I'm a futurist. The staff will tell you we did something called Strength Finders, and I'm a futurist. My strengths are futuring and woo. I encourage people to think about what's coming. That's why I'm a preacher, because I believe in it. But what's rooted in that is knowing what has happened in the past. We're the only Black-owned building on Pennsylvania Avenue. You mean to tell me we can't own more property? We can't take over this country with Black women in purple? Why? Because purple is the color that brings all the colors and the differences together. So I am ecstatic about what I know is coming. I see the president who already knew when he spoke to Dr. Keith and said, you're the reason why I'm in the White House. And we're like, the purple rush is happening. That is NCNW. So that's what I see. I see in 10 years that the infrastructure is going to be done, that the cleaning of all of the documents, that I see us protected in the IRS space. I see us not having to worry about EIN numbers ever again. So you know what I go to bed thinking about. I see us not having to call a funder ever again, because all of our members fund our work. So think about the future with me, because let me tell you something. It's going to be joy and more joy, because our children, my son is 9, y'all all know that. I see his wife somewhere in the section somewhere across the country. I'm already praying for that little NCNW girl right now. So the future is bright. The future is bright.
All right. Thank you, Madam President, for that insight. So we are living proof as the Young Adult and Collegiate Affairs NCNW's promise to be intergenerational. So this part of the question, I would love for my tri-chairs to jump in and just talk about what we're doing to hold up the promise now that we have the seat at the table, as Dr. Cole gave us, as this committee was formed in September of 2020. So it's still a relatively new committee, but we've been doing some exciting work. So I'll turn it over to Chanel first, and then we'll hear from Gabrielle.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think this has been a really great conversation, and we've kind of seen the peaks and the valleys of discussing how we've been shaped in the past and how we're continuing to not only mold ourselves, but the younger generations to continue us into the future. So for me, being intergenerational really starts with defining our roots and really being grounded in our purpose. And I've always been taught to view things as how I can be of service to it, not how it can be of service to me. So just keeping that same mind frame and sharing that with, all the women I encounter and touch has kind of been my driving force. But intergenerational is just pushing forward. And I think 88 is such a magical number. We hear it a lot. And this is a great year because 2 8s, those are infinity symbols, and put them together, that's unlimited possibilities. We are truly creating an equal and just everlasting perfect formula really for NCNW to continue for 88 more years. So I'm encouraged, I'm excited, and I continuously feel the love and support from all the women that have poured into me and continue to support the efforts of our YACA committee. So that is all for me. If Gabrielle, you want to take a hammer at it?
Yes, just a little bit. Ditto to everything that our VP said. And part of that is I'm an advocate. We're servants at heart and still making it cool again. for our young people to know that we can be in the streets, we can wear our heels, we can wear our pearls, and we can still fight every single day to make sure that we are the voices that they want to hear. So I'm just excited that our collegiate members are ready on the ground, ready to work, ready to learn from the feet from our mentors and continue from 88 more years. So that's all I have to add for that.
I can say for me, part of being intergenerational, as our Madam President is speaking about not being on the committee, well, I'm on my way out too, right? So I think one of the things that I have made it dear to myself is to be present, to not give up. There have been challenges in my 20-year career of NCNW, but I'm still here. And so with that being said, I try to be the example for the younger women that come in. Being in the Manhattan section, you know, when a young woman comes in, I remember being that young woman when I was straight out of Howard University, and the woman who was the third vice president at the time, she was a graduate from Howard. So we immediately had that connection. So I have to think about when another young woman comes in, if she doesn't see someone that is in her bracket, so to say, is she going to stay? So that is one thing that has kept me in NCNW, is to be that example, to show other young women that, you know, as we become more intergenerational, there's more places at the table for us. And the real proof of that was when I was elected president of the Manhattan section as the youngest president. And after I left my role, I turned it over to Diamond Butler, who is also on our board as our assistant recording secretary. And she's the next millennial president. So they are getting a double whammy. I don't know if they like it or not, but they loved it because we could get on Zoom. We were the first section in New York to be on Zoom during the pandemic. And so when Dr. Keith was talking about not getting that position the first time, I ran for president the cycle before and I lost. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to be done with NCNW, or I kind of pulled back, but I couldn't because some of the mentors who had built into me was like, it'll be your time soon. And I see now through God that it was my time to be president, because who knew we were going to have a pandemic and they needed a millennial president to get us up and running and to have the virtual sessions going and how we could do all this programming. So, you know, I was thankful afterwards to realize what it was, you know, my time, and it truly is in God's plan. So I really think the part of it is we have to keep young women. It's our charge, you know, to keep young women here by being the example. When we see those younger women, to bring them up as, you know, we were that same woman. We have to remember we can never forget where we came from. So I think for me, the intergenerational piece is component is key to keeping NCNW going for the next 88 years plus, and that this is an organization that will be around long past any of us. So now I think we want to see, we possibly still have a little bit of time left.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we may want to see if there's some action in the chat, or if anybody else has final words.
Yeah, any final words, sentiments, questions? And I will also, like my Madam President, I would like to add in a plug. So as we are all packing, getting ready to head to the airport, TSA, as you are coming to DC for our affiliates assembly this Thursday, at 10 a.m., we are going to be continuing this conversation of intergenerational support and guidance. We are having a young leaders think tank at 10 a.m. at the Gaylord to kind of pre-kick off our affiliates work and really dive this conversation deeper into our affiliates as well. So understanding and really defining what it means to be an affiliate and how we're supporting our local chapters and sections in our community. So definitely, if you enjoyed this tonight, definitely encourage all of your young adult delegates to join us, and we're going to have a great weekend. I'm excited.
Yes. So when we say young adult delegates, you know, as NCNW, we've defined that as 39 and under. We just want to have a space where we can continue this conversation, and we are thankful that NCNW has a space for us.
And we will happily see you guys at 12 at the main session. And I'd like to highlight Mrs. Evelyn Bethune in the chat. She added a comment that this is exactly what the founder would have envisioned, and that almost brings tears to me because it means a lot. And we see all of your love, your support, your shout outs, not only from our sections, but sections nationwide. So we are all doing some really great work. So
very good.
And we love you too, Dr. Bethune. We love you too.
Madam VP, we have 2 questions in Q&A.
Okay.
One is please define tri-chair, and I'll do the other one. I mean, I'll say the other one after you repeat, answer that one.
Okay. So we use the term tri-chairs because there are 3 of us that are leading the Committee on Young Adult and Collegiate Affairs, also known as YACA. So what the YACA committee is comprised of, like Ariane said, young women who are between the ages of 18 and 39, all walks of life, youth section members or leaders, collegiate women, recent graduates, and those that are transitioning as young adults into the community sections. And what we do on a monthly basis, and we meet and we collectively discuss kind of this same framework of how are we engaging with our younger generations? How are we continuing to educate and give them the skills and the tools necessarily to become this organization's next leaders? So supporting them in any way possible. So that is what myself, Gabrielle, and Ariane as the 3 chairs or tri-chairs do with the committee.
Perfect. And then this next question, I believe, can either go to Madam President or Dr. Keith. Would there be membership workshops or Zoom meetings to assist membership chairs on ideas and ways we can help sections to increase membership for NCNW?
You're reading our minds. So 2 things happening. Tomorrow, just so happens, the National Membership Committee and the YACA committees are meeting in person. Dr. Keith and I discussed this, and we are doing this because it is time to ensure that we clarify the membership experience versus the membership accountability. And the membership experience is connected to what does it mean to create an environment in NCNW where women want to be a part of our organization. So that membership experience for us is going to be discussed. We're going to also at the Assembly host a membership recruitment session. The Affiliates Assembly will also feature some members of some sections that have decided to come and join us. Let me just say this, we hear you, and Dr. Keith, that means we need to probably bring that show on the road. So we will look to engage some conversations specifically about membership chairs. We did fundraising, but it looks like membership is going to need a little bit more. That training series, it sounds like the training series was a success over this past fall. And so it sounds like we got to bring that back. So more to, yeah, okay, we see you in the chat. Thank you. So now we know we need to definitely get on top of bringing back some more of these sessions because as the January, that 2024 timeframe, Q1, we're getting heavy into section work, right? Getting that work done, making sure we have members in place, making sure we have our compliance in place. So we will continue to follow up with that. And yes, I do know you asked that question. Membership includes our local sections, but also the work of our states that will be coming out as well. So more to come.
All right. There was also a question if we were going to have new member orientations.
That's a good question. One of the things we've been talking about was, do we need to create a video or something where new members can see and hear from Dr. Keith and I and the membership leaders? So we are looking at that to help with local more yeses, thank you. Okay, to look at having a section video. That's what it seems like it'll be helpful. So we'll take that down. Comms team, just take that down so we can make sure we get that to the membership team, because it sounds like we should probably do something just like this where we can talk through some of the high level things so that you can just play it for your new members as they come on board, and it makes it easier for you all.
Alrighty, and to add another shameless plug, if you guys are enjoying all things YACA, you can follow us across all social media at NCNW YACA. I will also put it in the chat. We will be continuing to share. This morning we were spotlighting all of the different collegiates nationwide celebrating on their campuses and continuing that purple rush that President Arline Bradley so eloquently shares. So continue to follow us and support.
And then there was a question about the membership meeting that was mentioned yesterday. That is for the committee members. So that's a closed session, but it is your national committee members. So we will report back, of course, after we have that great discussion tomorrow.
I see that there is a question in the Q&A function. Will the Yaka committee be extended to local sections? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say, let's make sure we handle that one, Chanel.
Yeah, and I think a greater conversation is going to come about as far as really defining what our third vice presidents are doing within our community sections. Those are really going to be our on the ground eyes and ears and support from headquarters and all of our national committees really into the community. So like I said, redefining what that role is and really providing some good training so that we have that support for our advisors to our collegiate sections and those that are going to be spearheading some of our youth sections as well. So definitely looking to do some more work within the local section areas with Yaka.
And then I saw another question regarding volunteering with Good Health Wins, or if we also need assistance with the assembly.
We have a plethora of support at the assembly. You haven't seen the staff yet. We have a pretty large staff. So we are fine there. And in terms of Good Health Wins, if your section, if your state is a part of Good Health Wins, you should talk to your state lead. We have program managers from the states as well as the affiliates. So if you have any more questions about that, you can reach out to our programs team, where Shayna Banfield is our leader, and we'll follow up with you about opportunities. We are going to be doing Good Health Wins at least for another year into 2025. So that's a good thing.
Okay, we're just going through the chat if there's any more in the QA box.
And yes, so the gala sold out. We have already turned in all of our tables, but just stay on the lookout. If we find more tickets to share, we will share. All right.
I think we have answered all of our questions in the chat. Again, we want to say thank you so much on a 24-hour notice, less than 24 hours, I would say. And we had over 500 people. So we are just so incredibly grateful. And that just shows the true testament of your dedication and your commitment to NCNW's work. So on behalf of all of us here on the call, I want to say my gratitude and my thank you and love and excitement for the weekend.
Love you all. Happy Founders Day.
Happy Founders Day. Purple Power, Purple Pride, Purple Rush, all the purple.
All of them.
And cheers to another 88 years. Yes.
Love it. Love everybody.
Love you. Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.